Track number 2, Choke.
Yeah.
Like, you are literally going at the necks of people that
was Search.
sort of form a weapon against you type thing.
And that was around the Search recording sessions as well. I remember we did that. Tono was in the session with me. Alfie was there. Quake was there. Yogi was there. Snoop was there. Snoop is a Lucian friend of mine, but like my brother, one of my oldest friends. You'll hear his name all the time. Yeah, and Quake, I remember we did that record. Snoop and Yogi produced the record, and I just did that part over it. What you hear is pretty much like what we did that night, and then Quake didn't want to get on it. Quake was like, oh no, man, this seems like a more like a you record. You know, you keep that. Well, I did. You know, that one still too is like even what I'm talking about in it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like
you now.
Doesn't seem like me. Like if you know me, if you see me, if you meet me on the street, it doesn't seem.
It's
like
very aggressive. Like,
I hope
and
you
it
fucking choke.
To me, it's immediately different than the first one, even though the first one is like up front and kind of aggressive. The first one's like there's something coming at me, and you're sort of put in a position of not weakness, but like being attacked or something or under pressure. But this one, you come out like as a different person, almost like swinging from that. Is what I feel like. Like, look out, like almost like you went with the devil on that one. And that's where that it feels like a switch of character right there.
And that in a way is from the perspective of the people. You know what I mean? Like.
So when you're writing I in this, are you writing like I as like the
necessarily
collective,
not
like
necessarily
all of us?
I'm sometimes creating like a character.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But then you say the people, like that's not a singular character. Then that's like a whole.
So that character represents the feeling of the people. So okay.
Okay. No, I'm with.
I like to think of. I think people look at the Bible all wrong. I think that it shouldn't be taken as literal as it's been taken, as I said, in At My Door. And I think it's meant to be taken more symbolically. So the stories are supposed to, represent a certain principle, tell a story. That's what I wanted to do with the EP as well, for it to symbolize a feeling through how these songs make you feel. Yeah.
What's the feeling you're trying to make people feel with Choke?
Anger, angst, aggression.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it
I
by
think
any
it works.
means necessary. Hunger,
You said there was dark things going on in St. Lucia?
Yeah, bro. I mean, there's dark things going on everywhere.
Well, obviously, but like, is things bad down there right now?
Yeah. I mean, but it's not. And I'm very careful about how I speak about it because I am very aware that I am not part of it. You know what I mean? So I don't want to speak and misrepresent, and plus I don't live there. I just like every time I go there, I just pick up on the energy of the people again. The conversations that I have, like how things in Lucia, dog, same thing. People that have jobs, people hungry. Every week is somebody dying is a different thing. It's just, it's like that everywhere. Everybody has their angst. It's just, for me, I guess that's what's personal to me because that's home,
I was with a few label and record execs this week in Toronto, and they spoke very highly of their trip to St. Lucia because of you.
Yeah.
So, they
shout out the homies. Shout out the homies.
So they had great things to say about that trip.
Yeah.
When they went down to St. Lucia.
I mean, it's the same everywhere. You don't see it's where you go.
Yeah.
It's where you go. But I wanted them to definitely have a good time. And don't get it twisted. Like St. Lucia is a beautiful place. It's
it looks
safe.
so beautiful.
You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna go there and worry for your life. It's just like everywhere else. You gotta know where you're going.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So I took them,
Yeah.
And plus we had Nate. Like we had Nate in Ancillary. Nate is Infinite, Yogi's brother. And he's like
they spoke about him.
He's like the godfather.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He said they made sure Kayo's brother made sure we were all good.
Yeah. Sometimes Nate says you good, you good.
They said they went to some dance somewhere.
Moonshine. Not Moonshine.
Yeah.
What's the name of the place? I can't remember right now. And they're going to watch this podcast and be like, hey, Siri, you can't remember the name of the club. I'm sorry. But yeah.
Write it, fill it in the comments below.
One of those execs in particular, I remember very clearly. Oh, man, I had stories about each of them. But one of them in particular had two big girls with him. Dog. Like he was like living like he was in. And then another one was buying drinks for all the homies. So he was in the club like, you know,
big king. Yeah. He said he was loaded that weekend.
Oh my god.
Loaded.
Oh my god. And then we got this bus driver. Can't remember the homie name again. I sure he could remember, you know. But we had this bus driver, slowest bus driver ever. Fam. So we pay, like tell the fellas, because again, this is another thing too that we'll put out here. In St. Lucia, it's a little different to Canada in terms of like drinking and driving. Whereas
How so? You can drink and drive there?
everyone drinks and drives
Word.
at the same time. So the record execs in particular that came aren't, you know, familiar with that. In addition to the fact that they driving in all these windy roads and hills and no guardrails, and they generally fearing for their lives.
Right.
You know, I told them, yo, don't worry, I'll drive and we'll go where we're going and we'll be all right. And they're like, no, absolutely not. You're gonna be drinking with us. We had to get this bus driver and he'll take care of us. So we got this bus driver. They paid him some exorbitant amount. And it took us an hour and a half to get where it would typically take us like 20, 25 minutes to drive to.
Oh, man. You got the slow bus driver.
Fam.
I had a thing like that happen to me in Peru, big time.
But they had a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they said they're blessed.
Yeah. Shout out to homies, man.
Yeah.
I believe it's in Choke. You have a line about living to 25 shouldn't feel like a miracle, I think it is. Is that in Choke? Or is it in the one after that?
At my door.
It's in my door. Oh, right.
Living past 25 not supposed to feel like a miracle.
Talk to me about that line. Talk to me about that line.
Again, you know, speaking from the perspective of the feeling of the people, it's just, you know, it's a real thing. Like most people feel like when they make it to 25 alive, it's a miracle that I'm still here. Shouldn't have to feel like that.
No, you shouldn't.
You shouldn't have, like...
Why do you think it is that we feel like people feel that way?
These circumstances that they're dealt, I guess, sort of put them in this jaded state. Yeah, man, some people just... I remember in a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, we used to go to school together. Our parents worked together at the bank, so we would always be in the lunchroom, catching our kicks, playing together. And this was in primary school, and then we have to sit this common entrance exam that then decides what secondary school or high school that you go to. So I went to St. Mary's College, which is like an all-boys secondary school, but it's one of the, I guess, higher regarded schools in the country. And then my friend went to Leon Hess, which is a good school. It's like third in line, so to speak. But as a result, you know, we went different paths.
Divergent.
Yeah, he lived in a area, again, that, you know, it's a tough area. He became a product of his environment, started hanging around the wrong people, and one day he got shot in his back and he pierced his heart. And, you know, I lost my friend that I would take to my grandmother's house, and we would have lunch there, and we hated the rice. So we used to try and like pat it down to make it look like we ate some stupid kids what that doing. But, you know what I mean? These are the emotion, the sentiments that I'm trying to get to in these songs without, you know, getting to them.
Yeah. No, that's powerful. Like they stick out, and like I see why, because there's like a lot of weight behind it.
Yeah, and
my condolences to you, man.
Thank you. I mean, it's a long time ago. It's a long time ago, but it's just something that always, you know, it always stuck with me. Yeah, always stuck with me, and I've lost a few friends since then, unfortunately. But that's life. That's what happens. And this one, you know, was one of the first ones that really, you know, it's resonated with me my entire life. And a lot of the times throughout my career, there's always been like, you know, little things that I secretly dedicate to him.
Nice.
Yeah.
This one I think is not a question that most people would want to know deeply about, but I do. Are we ignoring ISIS?
Are we? Oh, again, this was 2015 when I wrote the song.
But even then,
but
even
it's still relevant
even
today, which is even scarier.
I feel like ISIS is always in the news, and like, you know, feels like we spend a lot of military attention on ISIS. It was a good rhyme. I wondered if you were deep into like geo-military politics.
No, not too much, to be honest with you. It was just like, again, a lot of the stuff that was in my, on my radar at the time that, inspired those
I appreciate the way you write that, where it moves in and out of the personal to the global like that. Like for me anyway, just as me as an individual consumer of stuff, like it really fit with me because I sort of think that way, or try to think that way. Yeah. And I understand more of that now that you talk more, that you were kind of writing for like representing kind of a feeling of the people.
Like we bomb their streets, we must kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of ignore a lot of that of the time and don't really face it, and it's surprising we don't hear it more in our art, really. Yeah.
Yeah. I've always I've probably said this to you too, but I've always wanted to, with my music, I wanted it to make people feel something, but I also wanted it to have some sort of purpose. I always want to say something that means something, at least, because at the end of the day, it's what I can do to contribute to, just the betterment of whatever.
Where does that come from? Is that just something you've always felt that way, or do you have role models that you saw doing that kind of thing, that you're pattern, we all have people influence?
I'll tell you what it is. I think I'm very selfish. All right. And I'm aware of that.
Selfish and self-aware.
But I don't. Even if I'm aware of it, it doesn't, prevent me from being selfish sometimes. So I say it in just everyday things, right? I have to make a concerted effort not to be selfish.
Right.
And I just always made it my life thing to be being an artist, writing music, all this shit. The reason that I was in it was for selfish reasons anyway. It was my way of getting through myself, just dealing with my emotions. It was therapeutic to me. But I always I made an effort to say something as me not being selfish. You know what I mean? I just want it was my personal duty to myself to give some sort of purpose in my music because I'm selfish. So this is me not being selfish.
I got you.
Does that make sense?
I think so. I think so.
You have a voice and you want to use it to inspire.
I think
your unselfish thing.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave a legacy that means something. I feel like, everything that we have here, we're going to leave it behind. But as artists, we have a voice that will stand the test of time and in a way is immortal.
Right.
So I want that to stand for something.
I think it's so important when you're talking about with what artists do, really. I mean, we talk about revolutionary things. It's the way I've always put it is this, anybody can pick up a brick and throw it. Well, not anybody, but most people can pick up a brick and throw it. But you got to give people reasons for that. And it's not the politicians' rhetoric. It's that song. They're not repeating politicians' things that in Ferguson. They're singing Kendrick
Lamar's. All right.
Because that's what makes you that's the soundtrack in your mind that helps you move to these places physically.
Absolutely.
And so I think reiterating that can never be said enough for artists. It's vital.
Yeah, it's very important, man. And from a not a smaller point of view, but even just messages that I get from fans on Facebook or Instagram or anything. Just or there's one guy, he hit me up the other day, and he had bought the one CD, the one prequel that I was selling when I was on tour with you guys, and he just broke up with his girlfriend. He was in a 7-year relationship with her, and this CD is what he would drive around all the time to listening for years, and he lost it. So he wanted me to send him another CD. So I had to tell him yo, I promise you I will. I just don't have it right now. Once I get back to the base and I get settled, I could take care of you. I wish you all the best. Thank you for the support, all that. And he was yo, your music really changed things for me. And to think that you had that kind of power, you want to be careful how you wield that. People listen to what you say, and you change people's lives in a meaningful way. So you might as well, be careful with your craft.
Yeah, the things that you say that people connect with, you know what I mean? They feel that, so.
Yeah.
you know, that's why, like I said, you shouldn't be worried about your new album. Like, you know what I mean?
We'll see.
Same
We got a
thing
week.
people can connect with.
We got a week. We'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see. I'm excited though.
Me
I'm
too,
excited,
man.
You should be.
I feel lucky
Good
that
times.
I'm aware of something like the world isn't, because I think they're gonna be pretty happy, man. They're gonna be excited about it.
That's dope.
We got more to talk about. There's a lot of different.
Let's go in.
angles
Let's
here.
go in.
Well, I want to know, do you meditate?
Not as much as I should.
But did you have, like, that used to be something?
Yes. That's something that I try to do like every day as soon as I wake up. Just, clear my mind. Or the first thing you do sometimes you get up is you look at your phone or something.
Right.
Like your alarm wakes you up. I hate that.
Right.
I hate that, but I'm victim to it. So I try
Did
to
you
make
see
that.
noticeable changes in your life when you were meditating more?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just a clearer perspective.
Yeah, word.
Yeah.
It's funny how, like, in our society, it's almost like fill it up more, like do more shit. And then when you actually do the total opposite of, like, just sit and try to do nothing. Just try and just deflect things and try to move through. You just literally recharge. It's like the weirdest.
Yeah.
It's almost like our whole living structure, like, saps our vital
man.
energy.
I really
man.
have to.
It's bizarre to me.
To work hard at doing nothing sometimes.
I think it's very difficult to do.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
I meditate more when I'm in St. Lucia though.
Why is that?
The environment is just more conducive to that.
Is there a pace there societally that maybe is a little more would fit that?
Yes, but when I'm in St. Lucia, I'm home. Like I'm actually at my parents' home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas, like when I'm in Canada, like it's the base. It's like the home
totally
base, but it's not.
And are you on the water in St. Lucia? Like right on the
Oh
water?
my God, dog. Not on the water, but
Wait. Are you right on the beach?
no,
God,
not right on the
Damn
beach.
it.
But
Right
once you
on
come
the
to
beach.
once you come out on the balcony of my house in the back, you have like a perfect view of the ocean. It's my
That's
favorite
amazing.
place, and like the lights in the balcony are like red lights. I don't know why they've been red lights, but they've been red lights my entire life. You know what I mean? It's just a vibe. It's my favorite place to be at the house.
So,
Yeah.
I have a theory about the red light, by the way. Is it visible from, like, the water? Like a boat coming towards the island would see that red light?
I don't know. Yes, you're right,
wonder
but
if
it's
it,
like
like-
a house. It's like that's
But I
not
wonder
the
if it was,
same.
like, steer.
It's like on a hill. My house
Yeah.
is like
It's not a lighthouse.
no, it's not at my house. I don't live at a lighthouse.
I hate to tell you this, Kayo. You may not have realized this till you came on the cut, but I've spoken with your family, and you grew up in a lighthouse.
Also, nice shirt, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I just want to point out that's
Glad
like
you brought that up.
very similar. Oh, it's polo too. Wow. You'd fit right in, dog. Like,
Really?
yeah, man. Like polo button-ups or polo shirts, your Levi jeans or your Levi shorts, your
Got the
Nike
jeans.
shorts,
Yeah.
and your Lacoste pouch, and you'd be an authentic Lucian bad boy.
Shit. It's just that much?
Yeah. But what I was gonna say,
Huh. Can I borrow your ID?
that's all you need. That's
all I
all you
need.
need. Are you straight?
Yo, I'm Kayo.
That shirt is like Madras. which
So
is
people
like
that are
our-
watching this should go look that up.
yeah.
What do they look up?
Madras. I don't know how to spell it. It's Madras maybe. I'm sure if you put it in
Our
Google,
tech team's working on it.
I'm sure if
They're
you put
gonna
it in
get back
Google,
to
it'll
us.
assist you with that.
Yeah.
But it's like it's our national. I don't know if it's
Like a
part of
ta-
our
like a
national
tartan
folk
kind of
wear.
thing?
Yeah. Our pattern. I'll show you a picture.
Yeah, man.
Because
Bring that up.
we have technology now, we could do that. My phone has been blowing up because someone said I died today.
Well, I was
the
just
way.
that was literally.
yeah, talk to us a little bit
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. This is a proof of life video, really.
I'm alive.
So
I'm
any-
alive and
before-
well. Wednesday in St. Lucia.
Maybe
April
we should
30th.
leak-
Get that clip up tonight.
Just this part, Ivy. If we could just isolate this part, so we can say whoever wants to keep him dead, we can bury this whole interview for a certain amount, right?
Shit,
I would.
like-
I mean, shit.
I was on the airport this
How did
morning.
you?
We'll
wait a
find
sec.
out who's speaking ill on
Aren't
your
you
name.
dead? Let's
So
isolate this.
This is the Madras material.
Show that right to this camera here.
See
really.
it? That is the Madras.
Yeah, that's nice.
So it's it's very similar
That's
to what
beautiful.
you're wearing.
Mm.
Wear it for
Is
like-
that polo what she's got on?
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's not polo.
Should be though.
Yeah,
Just
so we
polo
wear
by
it
the
in, like,
yard.
Journée Creole and some of our folk festivals and things of that nature. But back to the me dying thing.
Yeah.
So I was on the airport this morning, Newfoundland, and Nate Infinite sent me this article. What did he say? Oh my God. He sent me this article, and he's like, yo, you okay? You alive? I'm like, what are you talking about, dog? And the article says,
He just probably thought you just probably thought he was asking if you had a good night.
That's
yeah,
what I
I
was
had no
thinking
idea what
too,
you're talking
yeah.
about.
Exactly,
Until I saw
Ivy.
the headline, and it was breaking news. St. Lucian-born singer Kayo killed in drive-by shooting in Bahamas. First of all, I've never been to the Bahamas.
Can we see your bullet wounds?
What?
Can we see the wounds?
I've never been to the Bahamas. What would I be doing in the Bahamas? Driving someone's car with this. Oh, I was with some random woman too, but she survived. I succumbed to my injuries, apparently.
That's some Easter
You know what
shit.
I mean? Like,
He's back.
Was there anything personal in the
they had
article?
like,
Why would someone do that to you?
I don't know, but this isn't the first time that this
Did
has
they
happened.
say your
to,
real?
like,
Did they say your government
yeah, my
name?
government name.
What?
My government name is in it. They
Wow.
say they got Police Commissioner Ellison Greensdale told reporters that the occupants of the vehicle fired on the duo with a variety of weapons.
So who's this Ellen Greensdale?
Wait,
We
hold
gotta
on, hold
find
It's
on,
the
her.
police commissioner.
The occupant of the vehicle being you?
No,
The person that
guys
killed you?
Yeah, yeah.
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
all right.
Yes, it reads like a script in a movie if I continue. But yeah, this isn't the first time that this has happened. They
So you
did
said
to,
this is like a fake website.
Yeah,
type
it's a
thing.
fake website. So there's
But
like
people
St. Lucian
believe it.
News Online, which is like an actual legit website that gives credible, legitimate news
Right.
most of the time. Sorry. And then there's this
Shout
St.
out to
Lucia
News.
Times. You check it? That's like some bogus
Like the
fugazi
National
thing.
Enquirer type.
Yeah,
Onion.
that is just make these fake articles. So like they killed Nicole David, another singer in St. Lucia, had died recently. Boo Hinkson, Teddyson John. They even did this to like a former prime minister in St. Lucia. Like it's ridiculous. It's
Wow.
ridiculous. Yeah.
So
Well,
what-
you're on.
what-
Well, you're being held high.
Yeah,
in
you know.
good company.
But
Yeah,
what,
man.
what
Yeah.
was the ripple like? The internet, like it's not like you can control who sees that. So like,
Yeah,
who,
and that's the thing,
who's-
man.
Who
That's-
saw it? Did it come back to you from other people? Like you said, your
That's
friend
the thing, yeah.
Infinite, right? He was like,
Infinite was the first one who sent it to me, and then it just kept
Other
coming
people?
through. Now I was leaving as he sent it to me, so I only had time to like do
Oh,
a
you're on
quick
the plane.
statement on Twitter saying like,
I'm alive.
I'm alive and well. Wednesday in St. Lucia, April 13th. Still,
Man, you
know what I
leave your
mean?
phone
This is
on the
fake.
plane, man. Don't worry about that shit, man.
Yeah,
you
you know
can
what I
leave
mean.
that.
Can you
up.
just like
And
look
then-
right here and just tell them, "Hi, I'm alive"?
I
Like,
am alive and well, and I'm here.
beautiful.
It is.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just like I put that up on Twitter.
Thank
I
God you're
sent the
alive.
article to my mom, let her know that it's fake, and I took off. And I was in the air for 2 hours, and when I landed, my shit was just blowing
Bleep,
up,
bleep,
missed
bleep,
calls,
bleep, bleep,
like, and everyone is like, everyone is like, hey, oi, yo, no one is saying anything because they want to like see if I respond.
And they
then-
must have been losing it for 2 hours too. Like no response. Like what?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, your people were definitely
Especially
losing it
about
today.
being
Especially my
dead.
mom, though.
Especially
Especially my
about being
mom.
dead.
And the thing is, people were spreading it through WhatsApp. So like, there's no Twitter on WhatsApp. There's no Instagram on WhatsApp. I just made a statement on like my
But WhatsApp's
platforms.
global as fuck.
Check it. So my mom got it. Like all the neighbors went and checked my mom. Like, it's just
Oh,
all kind of
shit.
Your
shit.
poor mother.
Yeah,
Fuck.
man. Like no one wants to. And even reading about yourself dying. It's
Yeah.
like pretty.
That must have been kind of
ominous.
trippy, man.
Yeah. It's-
But I think it's a good good thing it happened to you actually, because all this music. I thought this before what you told me.
Yeah.
It felt like it was kind of like a period, like you were trying to put a period to you're trying to an end. You're trying to say this is done.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the music was like that long in its gestation of getting ready to come out.
Yeah.
But it really feels like the part of you, like you're new.
Yeah. The
This
next
is this
one
is no, but
done,
this
too.
is telling you, man. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
Old KO's dead.
In a way, I didn't think
Old
about it.
KO
like
was
that.
killed.
Shit.
It's on the internet. It's real.
Shit. Would you look at that?
Look
the
at
plot
that, man.
twist.
That's
People
the
are gonna
best
start thinking
PR
that I
move.
did this on purpose.
There could
huh?
be.
Resurrection.
I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but
Yeah, change
that's a
it.
Machiavellian
Change the-
shit.
Change the album name right quick.
Well, we might have
To
to
call
run
it
with that.
Tupac Lives.
We
Just
might
gonna
have
change
to
it to
run with
Tupac Lives.
We'll have to find some way to swing this in our advantage for sure.
I think it already is.
Control the narrative.
Even just mentally. You can do anything.
Yeah,
You're back.
yeah.
You are back.
You're Jesus on like Easter Monday. Just like cheap chocolate and Netflix.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Resting.
God remind me of the winter. I got remind me of the snow. I got remind me of the winter.